Our video on how to draw a frog. Here's my practice, and I'm going to show you how to draw a frog on a 3x5 index card, because that's what we're drawing on in our All God's Creatures VBS camp. So we're going to start with his little body. It's like a circle, and his head is kind of like a diamond. His mouth is like a diamond, his eyes are circles, and his arms, this is like a V shape in here. And then all his little fingers are like letter U's. And then this is like a top of a number 2. Right in there in his hips, and this one's backwards. So it's not as hard as it looks. I just analyzed it, took it all the pieces together, and his tongue is like a heart, but it's round on the bottom instead of pointy. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to start with him right in the middle. I'm going to put him right in the middle. It kind of reminds me of Kermit, but most frogs look like, Kermit looks like most frogs. So, and I want his head tilted a little bit. I don't want it straight on. So that's a little different. So it's kind of round on the top and kind of comes out on the end, and then it's pointed at the bottom like a heart. He's got cheeks, like cheeks on the side. Alright, so it's like a hill at the top, little cheeks on the side, and comes on down like a V, and cheeks out here. And then is his tummy. So his tummy shape is round, like a U shape right there. And then his shoulder comes like a top of a number 2, just the top of a number 2 for this arm. Same thing on the other. Comes down. And then his toes, you make sure you leave space for both of them, so make sure you have an eraser with you. So U shape, U shape, U shape, and I'm only going to draw 3, but you could draw 4 for his thumb, because they do have 4. So thumb, 1, 2, 3. So keep them, you want them to be about the same thickness too. So here's his back hip. Looks like a number 2. You can see the number 2 right there. And then his little paw. And then 1, 2, 3 letter U's. And I'll put 1. That's not right. I don't like that one. Put that right about. He does have a thumb on the back too. More like that. That's a little cuter. Alright, so here's his back hip. And then his foot. So there's a backwards number 2. There's 1, 2, 3, and then this one. Okay, so those are his paws, his back legs. And then his eyes are nice and big and round right here on top. Nice and big and round. And then his mouth comes up and down, and then almost like a diamond shape. But it's a little thinner on the top, a little less opening. This is deeper on the bottom. Here's his cheeks. We don't want him to look like he has a mustache. And we don't want a line inside his eye. So we're adjusting the things that we drew. And there's our little C shape. But we'll probably use googly eyes for him later on. You can use googly eyes, or you can draw the eyes. And that's up to you. But I'm just showing you how to draw it, just in case you don't have googly eyes available. Took me a while to get them. And then his little nose, nostril dots. And you don't want any lines inside there, because you want him to look like he's really cute. There you go. And then his tongue, top of a heart shape. And then just bring it down to his mouth. It's going to look a lot like a heart. Okay. There he is. There's our little frog. That's just the drawing part. So we're going to go over it with a, I'm going to go over it with a Sharpie. And I have a Sharpie with a double end. It's got a fine end and an ultra fine end. So this end is the ultra fine, so that's the part I'm going to draw with. So I'm going to start with his eyes. And they're kind of like a crescent moon or a C shape in there. However you want to put it in there. And then trace around his eye. Circle. Draw the top of his head. And his cheek. Come down to his chinny chin. Didn't quite match up. 2 dots for his nose. His little cheeks. And there's his heart-shaped tongue. And his shoulder. And his little thumbs. And then his little back feet. There's the 2. There he is. And then just go in over with your black. I'm going to switch the tip to the black part. Color in this part black inside of his mouth. So there he is in black and white. Before I add color, I'm going to take out my pencil marks. So I'm going to erase those before I add any color. He's going to be a little green frog. I'm going to do a little bit of shading on him so you can see how I do that. He's going to have a little yellow under his tummy and on his feet. It's like, I mean, he's going to have red eyes, but you can make him have googly eyes. It's up to you. He's a red-eyed tree frog. So he's going to have yellow feet. So I used a Sharpie so I can use a marker. I'm going to put his toes in yellow and just partly up his body, not all the way up because I want green on there. And yellow on his tummy. And some yellow here around his mouth. Tongue pink. That might need to be a little lighter. It looks pretty red. It's supposed to be coral reef. Okay. And then I'll use a light green for his, a lighter green. Okay, a lighter green. Electric lime. Both Crayola. Use this electric lime. It's a lighter green. I can mix the colors together with marker. You can also add chalk or colored pencil on top of this. See, that's what I wanted it to do. Mix the green, make it lighter. The lighter green in there. Top of the head. Just do it with dots too. It's another way of doing it. Little teeny dots. And I can take that with a yellow marker and I can blend that together. We figured out how to do that when we were working on the butterflies, didn't we? Tiny dots. So This leg needs a little more green. Put in some dots. You can even do that with some darker green. Put some dots in there. That's wet marker into wet marker, so it will bleed a little bit because it is watercolor marker. A nice little texture, dotty skin. I'm drawing this, I'm trying to keep in mind, how am I going to make this a sculpture? What am I going to do? So I don't want to get too complicated, because I want to try to make it out of clay next. Okay, there he is. There's our little frog, how to draw a frog. He's pretty cute. So ribbit. Hi, little froggy. Oh, I know, I was going to give him a little bit of blue in his eyes. Just because I like to put some blue in their eyes. And I could put a yellow in his eyes. I could make a red eye. This could be a red-eyed tree frog. There he is with blue eyes. Okay, well, let's see what he would look like with red eyes. I'll just do that with a color pencil. This is a Crayola. This was last blue was a Crayola. That was azure. Oh, this says light blue on it. I can make red eyes on him. Can do that with a colored pencil. I know that the red-eyed tree frog has a lot of orange in his eyes. So I'll put a yellow marker and I'll add it right to the colored pencil. Make it look orange. Right on top. Just mix them together. Now, I don't quite like that. So I'll go back to the red. Go right around the eye with the red. Not fill it in. I'm just going to outline it. I don't want it to be too dark. My Mongolia. Not sure if I'm saying that right. My pastels. And that's the color. I like this color better. Put that right there. Right on top of, you can go right on top of marker with chalk to lighten it up. Okay. There it is. It's a lighter color. That's good. I like it. Okay. So there's our little how to draw a frog. Our verse for the froggies is Psalms 105 verse 30, and this is the New King James Version. It says, "Their land abounded with frogs, even in the chambers of their kings." So this is talking about back in the time with the Egyptians, and Pharaoh wouldn't let the Israelites go. So Moses came and Aaron, and they told Pharaoh that God wanted him to let his people go so they could go worship him. And the Pharaoh said no. And so God sent lots of plagues. He sent the plagues of flies and frogs and all sorts of things. So the frogs were even in the chambers of the kings. So God can use the frogs to do whatever he wants. And all his creatures are at his command. So this is just our little frog. There he is. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. See you later, little frog. Have a good night. Bye-bye, little frog. Bye-bye. Ribbit, ribbit.